Greetings, fellow counts, dukes, kings, emperors, and even barons, mayors, and priests, bishops, and archbishops, and popes, and welcome to Crusader Kings 2. This was a decision on the part of my wise council in my 7,000 subscribers video, where we voted on a new series that I was going to do in addition to my Byzantium playthrough for EU4. And it was a close tie. It really was. I had a lot of people who were asking for a lot of different things, but the one that I saw that got the most votes, and the one that I saw that got the most likes, were the Crusader Kings 2 suggestions. So, we're going to be playing Crusader Kings 2. Those of you who wanted to see other series, such as the Arumba test, don't worry. The Arumba test is definitely still going to happen, but it'll probably happen after I do my Byzantium playthrough and finish that one up. As well, a Victoria 2 playthrough is still on the table. We're going to play Crusader Kings 2 first, since it's the one that got the most votes. And Hearts of Iron 4 and Stellaris are definitely still on the table as well, but we'll vote on that when we get to it, you know. Anyway, so, welcome to Crusader Kings 2. This is a game in which I only have about 90 hours. I do not have nearly as much time in this game as I do in EU4. I am still definitely learning the ropes, and that's kind of the point of this whole series, is for me to kind of show what I've learned in 90 hours, and by reading some guides, admittedly. I don't think there's any shame in that. I think it's perfectly fine to read guides, because guides teach you about strategy, which is really important in strategy games, as you might imagine. That being said, I have a feeling we're going to learn a lot by playing this, and to commemorate that and to go along with that concept, we're also going to be playing some fairly reasonably challenging starts, I think, just to kind of teach ourselves more by putting ourselves into hard situations where we have to really try our best, as it were. So that being said, let us go ahead and take a look at what kind of characters we can have. So we're going to start in the early Middle Ages. And let's talk about the early Middle Ages. The early Middle Ages started with the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the early 5th century. The earlier part of this era saw the great Germanic and Slavic migrations across Europe, with people such as the Goths and Lombards settling in southern Europe, the Franks settling in Gaul, and Saxons crossing the sea and settling in Britain. The Eastern Roman Empire was violently shaken by the pressure from the Goths and Avars, and fought bitterly with the ancient Persian enemy. The rise of Islam saw the Arabs conquering immense amounts of territory in the Middle East and North Africa, and in India, several great dynasties vied for dominance, with the Rashtrakutas rising towards the end of the 8th century. In the steppes, the Khazars grew in power, and in Scandinavia, things were about to change in a way that was to affect the entire continent. So we're not going to play any of these people, since these are all big, famous people with lots of land and other things to do. We're not going to be playing as somebody like that. No, we're going to play a count. Now, if we look at all the independent realms here, there are quite a few. There are a lot of interesting choices that we could do, but we want to play as a count, because a count is basically the lowest that we could possibly be, and that would put us in like a really interesting situation, right? Now, one thing I thought about doing is trying to play as a count in Asturias and trying to, halt the advance of the Umayyad Caliphate. But that may be a little bit too ambitious for this Let's Play, considering my own personal skill. I thought about playing in Ireland to kind of, do a throwback to Desmond, as some of you will know from my EU4 campaign. However, there aren't any young counts here in Ireland, and that's kind of a problem, because as a count, we want to be someone young who's going to be able to, to take over and, do well. So that's not really going to be fun for us either. However, if we look here in Germany, there is a count here of Nassau, who, he's 24 years old. That's fairly young. Let's just take a look around and see what options there are. To see the Bishop of Mainz, the Prince Bishop of Cologne. How about Munster? He's 20 years old. And what realm was he a part of? He's part of the realm of Saxony, which is still, if we look at the government's screen here, they're still tribal. And I don't think we want to necessarily play as tribal. I think we'd like to be feudal from the get-go here. So let's keep looking for people we could play. The Count of Nassau does seem like he would be a good choice. However, a count in Bavaria would also be quite fun as well. We could play in France as well, now that I think about it. We do have a count here in Bohemia. However, I believe they are tribal government still as well. Interesting. Maybe we do want to be a tribal vassal starting out, but let's look in France as well, because by playing a count in France, we would actually have a lot of time to expand. We would be in a relatively safe position. Oh, this guy here, the Count of Narbonne. I think that this would be a really fun guy to play. His liege is the Duke of Toulouse, and I think he'd be fun to play. We don't know what stats he has, because when you pick a small ruler like this, they always have random stats. So yeah, I think this is going to be the guy we'll play. Well, we'll play Count Bego of Narbonne, of the Begonid dynasty. So he's Begonid. I love it. Alright, we are running the Sword of Islam, the Legacy of Rome, the Old Gods, the Sons of Abraham, Charlemagne, the Way of Life, and the Reaper's Due. And, one thing I want to ask is, some of you, I have found a good-looking, and some of you are going to, like, be really, like, frustrated by this, I think. I found a really good-looking, mod that makes all the portraits, like, anime faces. And I know what you're thinking, oh my god, Dark is a fucking weeb. I knew it. I knew it. I knew there was something wrong with this channel. Oh my god, no. Hear me out. So, the faces in this are not exactly great. It's from like 2012. It might even be earlier than that when this game came out. I think it came out in 2012, but I don't think the faces look particularly great in this game. It often results in like some hilarious combinations where like you get some like really chubby person who's attractive, even though like their portrait is like, what even like am I looking at, right? So hear me out. I do think the anime mod looks really nice, but if you guys, after watching this, don't want that in the game because you think it's ahistorical, you don't like the way it looks, or you just think that I'm a fucking weeb as a result of suggesting it, you know, whatever. It's fine. If you guys don't want it, I won't do it. But if you are interested, I can enable it for a few episodes, and we can see what people think. At any rate, I think that's all I want to mention before we actually start this Let's Play. If we look here, we would be part of Middle Francia, which is important because we're going to be part of a really big empire, which is really important for us just because that means we'll be protected from a lot of outside threats. You know, as a count, first of all, we were protected by our duke, and then our duke is protected by a king or emperor. So, like if we look at kings here, the king of Middle Francia, yeah, King Carloman. So yes. Let us begin as the Begonid dynasty, and let's see how well we can do. We'll play with all these standard options. Basically, not Iron Man. And let's go ahead and start. Alright, welcome to Crusader Kings 2. We get these nice little, you know, pop-ups that tell us things. How nice. We are Visigoths. We have no special features of our culture. Well, that's a shame. We have a feudal government, and we are Catholic. So, all things are in a, you know, good shape. Let's look at our character, though. So we have 3 diplomacy, 10 martial, 1 stewardship, 2 intrigue, and 6 learning. We are an indulgent wastrel, which gives us bonus stewardship, which is sad because we're apparently slothful, which lowers all of our stats by 1. As to why we have 10 martial, I'm not really sure. I guess our base was just 9. We got, you know, really good with that. Now, we currently have no heir. Our heir is our liege, who does not like us very much. That being said, we have 260 men in our levy, which could be increased further, obviously. Now, let's take a look at the laws, because this is going to be important. Now, for the realm of Middle Francia, crown authority is at its minimum, which means that we are still allowed to attack our fellow counts and dukes. And that's really important because we need to be able to attack other counts without drawing the ire of our duke. And let's see, if we look at our duke, actually. So our duke is this guy, Guillaume of Toulouse, who obviously owns Toulouse. And who are his vassals? Let's sort them by rank here. So we have us, Begonid. We have Thierry, Gaons of Melguil. I think it's this province. This guy here. And he has 290 troops within his total levy. We only have 263, so he's a little bit stronger than us at the moment, though we will see how that changes as we build more things. Now, who else is under our account here? We have the Count of Roseo. And he has only 142 men, with a total levy of 154. So this guy actually does seem like he would be a great early target for us here. Now, our character is not particularly gifted in diplomacy. However, first let us get the ambition to get married. Get a little bit of free piety, which will improve some relations with some people. And what is the succession law currently? Alright, we are an agnatic cognatic gavelkin, so that means that males will inherit. However, if there are no males, then females will become the next in line of succession. And we are gavelkin, which means when we die, all of our land is divided up among our heirs. Our male heirs, specifically. Anyone who's eligible. So, having a bunch of boys would be a bad thing unless we manage to change the succession law before we die, which is certainly possible, considering that we're 19. This is why it's good for us to be young, obviously. Alright, so we should pick a focus for our character, of course. Now, unfortunately, the heir to the Duchy of Toulouse is Theodoric of Burgundy, which is unfortunate. You know, as a count, we don't really have a lot of claims to anything. Now, that being said, let us take a look at our council here. So we've got a really good Chancellor. He's got 19 skill, which is just very impressive. He has a really good chance to fabricate a claim, and I think we'll absolutely go for that on Roseo here. Our Marshal, we will have him train troops. Now, I don't think this used to do it, but these days, training troops in a province will increase the maximum levy size. So we're getting 70 more men out of our, our holding here in Narbonne. Next, we have our steward, who is god-awful at his job, and I would be scared to let him do anything for fear of him just royally screwing it up. Now, we could consider hiring a noble. That would cost us only 2 gold, and I think that's worth it to get a guy who's maybe actually like good at his job. He's not much better. You know what? For only 2, it's like a bit of money, but I mean, I would really like to get a guy who's actually good at his job. So let's do that. Alright, this guy has 11. It's not amazing, but it's better than the 6 that we currently have. So let's appoint this new guy, Johann de Beziers, to the position. I think he's up to the task. Next, we'll have our spymaster. We'll have him scheme in our province because we don't want anyone trying to murder us, which would be bad. And the thing is, as a count, we don't generate any technology points, which means that stealing technology is kind of pointless for us, since we're not naturally generating any technology at all. And lastly, if we look at the religion map mode here, everyone here is Catholic, everyone I know is Catholic, I'm Catholic, so we'll just have him research cultural tech, I guess. We could also have him go try to improve relations with the Pope, to ask the Pope for favors. However, I'm not really keen on that. I'd rather just, actually, now that I think about it, since we don't generate any points, that would actually be a better option, since there's not really much else that we can do. As for the... Now, we do have our Chancellor fabricating a claim, which is good. And now we need to do something important. We need to look for a wife. And we're going to sort by stewardship, since stewardship is a really good way to find really fertile women. We do have this woman, Daphne, who is a thrifty clerk. However, she's gluttonous, which means that we're not going to like her very much. And it's important that we find a woman who we, as a person, actually... are attracted to, just because that means that we're gonna, she's gonna be more fertile, and we're gonna have more babies, and which means our dynasty is gonna expand. However, none of the women are really appealing on the in the current existing list, so we are gonna present a debutante. We'd have to marry a lowborn anyway, and so this is kind of just speeding up the process. This woman is not really that good. I mean, she's got 8 stewardship, but I mean, I would prefer someone with a better trait than the thrifty clerk. So let's just go ahead and roll someone else. This woman is a Grey Eminence, which means we would like her a lot. However, her intrigue is 16, and she doesn't like us very much because we're slothful and she's diligent. So she would likely murder us if given the chance. So unfortunately, she's not really going to work for us either, even though she does have some great stats. Alright, this woman is an indulgent wastrel. Not really what we're looking for. We'll just keep rolling people till we get someone here that we can, actually do well with. A charismatic negotiator is good. However, she doesn't like us, but her intrigue is 8. What is our intrigue? Our intrigue is 2. So she would likely murder us. She's cruel and paranoid and humble. She's also an impaler. Oh dear. I don't trust that. I really don't. I mean, our guy, we're slothful and we're proud. We're also shy and zealous. And the indulgent wastrel was groomed to be good with money, and if good means spending it quickly, the indulgent wastrel certainly is. Oh dear. Let's present another debutante, shall we? She's also an indulgent wastrel. She's gregarious, zealous. She would like us because we're zealous, but we're still slothful, which means she doesn't like us. However, she is lustful, which is good because that means she's more likely to have kids, which is something we absolutely want. And she has a opinion of us, which means she's less likely to murder us. I think we take this one. Let's keep her, and then let's roll like a couple more, just to be safe here. She's not any good. I'll roll one more. Kind of rolling the dice here, but I think it's good to get a better chance. She's a Grey Eminence. She likes us even more. She's patient, content, which is really good, just, and she's lustful. So she's gonna have a really high fertility rating. Flamula de Beziers. Well, she's about to. We're gonna marry this woman, I think. So let us arrange a marriage. Let's pick. Where am I in this list anyway? Let's just say excellent, and arrange marriage. Oh, I'm arranging her with my. What I need to do is offer myself, and then let's see, where is she? Flamula. All right, she would accept. We're going to lose 100 prestige as a result of this, which is a shame, but that's just the way things go. We could get 10 gold or 13 prestige. Now we get 2 prestige every month. But we only make 0.88 ducats, so I think the 10 gold is more useful for us to help kind of recoup the costs of trying to get married here. And we're going to go immediately for a family focus, I think, just to get higher diplomacy. Well, her opinion of me is actually lower than what was advertised, which kind of sucks. So that being said, we may want to go for the family focus here, just to really try to get children as quickly as possible. And then later we'll change that to a war focus to give us more troops to work with, which is going to be important. We could hire a court physician, however, there's no plagues, and we currently aren't sick, so I don't really see the point of that when we aren't making that much money. But let us unpause the game for the first time. Alright, we've fulfilled the ambition to get married, which means we can pick another ambition, and first of all, we want to have a son. And it's important because this mission is going to make us more fertile, which is going to add to the 25% we already have from being family-focused, and in addition to our wives' extremely high fertility, as it is. Excuse me. Now, we are in the position where we're trying to fabricate a claim. He may get it to fire before we can actually afford to do it, which would be unfortunate. Thanks to our steward, we are making a ducat a month. If they're ducats, they might be florins in this game. It might just be gold. Who knows? It's likely not ducats, actually, but... Now, we don't really have any vassals. Well, we do. They're just not very big. We have a city and a bishopric, which are pretty small. It looks like we are currently defending against the King of Bavaria, which is really unfortunate. For the kingdom. However, the how many troops does the King of Bavaria have? He has 1.45 k. Our king actually has a very small amount of troops, only 1.65 k. To the most illustrious Count Bego, the good burghers of Beziers are barely able to pay their taxes. Our coffers are empty. I humbly ask that you lower the taxes for your cities. Well, how much does our mayor like us? He has 14 opinion of us. Lowering his opinion would lower how much we pay him. However, if we accept, we would vote yes on minimal city taxes, which would lower our income, even more than it already is. I don't think we can accept that, unfortunately. Which means he is going to be a little upset with us. So currently, our goal is to try to get an heir with our new wife, Lamula. And we definitely want to fabricate a claim on this province. His levy is going up, however, we will still have significantly more troops once we have, you know, gathered the levy. But anyway, we're off to a fairly decent start, so thank you for joining me, my fellow Begonids. And hopefully that this series will turn out well. I've probably already made mistakes, such as like rolling too many debutantes or something like that. But that's the whole point of this campaign is to learn things. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. The episodes for this can run a bit longer since the file sizes for it generally aren't as big as EU4. So that may be something you're interested in with this series. At any rate, I think we're gonna have a good time on this one, and I'll see you guys on the next one.